Hey guys, I'm Mike, and we're back again with another episode of the Marvel Fresh Start Reviews. We got 4 books right on slate. We got Astonishing X-Men, Exiles, Multiple Man, and Death the Inhumans. And today I'm joined with
I'm Matt.
I'm Natalia.
And I am Vincent.
and Natalia. This is your first time on the show. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And we're going to kick things off right away, and you're going to introduce and talk about Astonishing X-Men for us.
Okay, well, Astonishing X-Men number 13 is written by Matthew Rosenberg and drawn by Greg Land. It is number 13, but it's a reboot of volume 4 of the first run. So the first 12 issues was written by Charles Soule and starred Charles Xavier. And now this run is going to star Alex Summers, aka Havoc. And some background in the Axis event from 2014. Havoc had his personality switched, so he turned evil and was doing a lot of pretty messed up things. But in the recent X-Men Blue number 28, he had his personality switched back, so now he's good again, except he really doesn't know where he's supposed to go after being evil for so long. So right now what he's trying to do is he's trying to go places. He's still trying to do good. He's trying to collect an X team, ask some of his oldest friends, and he's not getting a lot of success so far, but we're just going to see where that goes. And the lineup is supposed to be Havoc, Beast, Warpath, Dazzler, what else am I missing?
Banshee, right?
Banshee, that's the surprise 6 member. And
Colossus.
And Colossus, right, thank you. So I'm going to give this issue a 2 out of 5 so far. The art really set me off, and I wasn't really impressed with the lineup for this team. I liked Colossus, I liked Dazzler, and that was just about as far as my interests go with the characters. Havoc really wasn't impressive for me. He was I suppose he's meant to be annoying, but I'm still not really gaining a lot of sympathy for his end here. There's a lot of fun cameos from other students, and then we have the fun cameo from Banshee, which I suppose is supposed to be a wrap up from the Horsemen of Death plotline in Uncanny Avengers. And let's see, I wasn't really sure where we're going with the villains, with the main villain who took down Miss Sinister and Donald Pierce. And overall, I thought the writing was not that great. So, and of course, the art just just brought everything down for me. So I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was not impressed by Rosenberg's writing. Havoc, I think, kind of seemed out of character. He was obnoxious throughout the entire book and was really not someone I wanted to read about. I was disappointed that of the 5 characters on the cover, only 2 actually appear in the main story. And they're Havoc and Beast, who I don't care all that much about in general. Land's art, like you said, it's not. He's done worse, but this was not good. It was still not good. And I guess I'd have to read the next issue to find out. So I'm not going to. But why does Beast just have Banshee in a closet in his classroom? I don't. Whatever. I did not like it. Yeah, 2 out of 5.
I gave this a 3 out of 5, and that might just be because I like Havoc a little bit more, even though it seems that Rosenberg, and we'll get into this when we talk about Multiple Man, is that he has this thing for writing characters, particularly the protagonist, which I guess Havoc is the protagonist of this particular book now, that they're annoying in everyone else's eyes because he does the same thing with Jamie Madrox's Multiple Man. We'll touch on that. But it seems that he's trying to do this Booster Gold kind of thing where he's just like this dolt, but
they're not funny. Booster's funny.
Yeah, but that's right. The thing. Booster's funny. This isn't.
And I've never seen Alex act like this before. This does not seem like Alex at all.
It most, from my experience with Havoc, is like he's got the. Well, I can never remember because the different continuities. He's the younger brother, right?
Yeah, he is. He's baby brother syndrome.
So that's always his big thing. He's always living in the shadow of his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really that here. And then the Avengers show up and they're completely out of character. And then other characters in the X-Men are also out of character, but I like Mr. or Ms. Sinister now, and I like the Reavers, but like I don't know. I thought Land's art wasn't gratuitously bad as what it has been in the past, but after I guess the whole arc is done and this whole team's assembled, and that's out of the way, maybe when they actually have the fully formed team and go on missions, maybe I'd be willing to check out again. But for me, yeah, I think that 3 is only being propelled because I like some of the characters in the book, and like Matt said, only 2 of them show up, so what's the point?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm 2 out of 5. Like 2 of my compadres, I was not a fan. Greg Land I didn't hate it. Well, I didn't hate it with a fury throughout the issue, as one sometimes does with Greg Land. But obviously, I don't like it. Rosenberg, he's writing like 90% of the characters in this entire book, like completely off of how I perceive the characters through years of reading X-Men. There are few cool cameos. I like seeing Anil, Shark Girl, Rockslide, Nature Girl, Glob, Pixie, and then one of them gets a line and he acts like a dick, slightly out of character. The Avengers, just gratuitous cameo because I guess Aaron's Avengers is the flagship book. Cross-promote that, cool. But then Iron Man and Captain America are particularly just super out of character, act like complete assholes. Then Kitty does the exact same thing, while the main character isn't even like, he's being put down, but he's also a dick himself. So like 2 out of 5. I'll read it eventually because it's X-Men. And now I'll move into our next book, Exiles. This is written by Saladin Ahmed and drawn by Javier Rodriguez.
Your boy.
So Exiles was a long-running series starring Blink from the Age of Apocalypse reality and other multiverse misfits, often with links to the X-Men franchise. Obviously, Blink is connected, but a lot of the other characters were usually related. Exiles actually stole its title from an Ultraverse title, which then Juggernaut was a part of when Marvel bought Malibu. And the Marvel version of Exiles, through 2 volumes, basically ran around 120 issues through almost the entire decade of the 2000s. And it was really fun under Judd Winnick and Tony Bedard. And I brought props. This is Exiles, all of this crap. Unfortunately, the last section of this crap, this part of the crap, is written by Chris Claremont, and he totally fucked it up. And Greg Pak, he did a book called Extreme X-Men, which has nothing to do with the original Extreme X-Men and is really just an Exiles book. And that's basically an Exiles book. And then there was a brief attempt at a revival with a miniseries by Jeff Parker, and it was actually decent, but no one cared. And so we'll see if people care about this, because it's back now, and it's written by one of Marvel's rising stars in Ahmed. He did Black Bolt, and he's also doing Quicksilver, which we reviewed already for Fresh Start. I was a fan of that. Overall, we were positive towards it. But getting into this actual book, Exiles #1, right off the bat, we open with The Unseen, which is the stupid post-original Sin Nick Fury. So I'm already fucking annoyed right off the bat. Then I have like 3 pages of that, and then I finally get a cool like collage page of Blink and some of the old Exiles characters, and there's different art styles, and I'm like, that's a really cool page. And that's the first time we really see Blink in focus. And it's kind of interesting to note that this run seems to be highlighting that she's actually from the Bahamas, and they're drawing her hair and even her facial features totally differently than they have in the past, which I'm sure that's just the fact that in the 90s and the 2000s, comic book artists and the industry, they didn't really care about drawing any characters differently. So she always had very straight textured hair. And so that's somewhat interesting. Then we have super wordy 2 pages of Blink talking to Nick Fury. And I'm like, I don't care about any of this. And she gets the Talus back, which is the little multiversal whatever. And so she starts getting teleported around to assemble her team. And that's pretty much the rest of the issue. We just get brief introductions to some of the characters, and not even all of them, just like the previous issue. It's going to take like 5 issues to assemble this damn team. First, we get a Days of Future Past version of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, but it's not precisely Days of Future Past, obviously. So it's an alternate universe of an alternate universe. And everyone in that reality dies as they transport to the next one. And that's an alternate reality version of Iron Lad, he's a young version of Kang who was on the Young Avengers, but not the young version of Kang that people actually know, despite the fact we get a footnote to go check out the Young Avengers Complete Collection. And then Kang shows up to try and stop this, and Javier Rodriguez draws Kang as like this pudgy, like weird dude. I thought the art was really weird in that page. And then the big villain who's destroying multiverses is the Time Eater, which I guess is a rotting Galactus head or something. And the tease for the next members of the team and the next issue is a bootleg MCU Valkyrie and a Chibi Wolverine, who I have heard is super fucking annoying. So overall, my thoughts, Saladin, nothing Ahmed did here impressed me whatsoever, like Quicksilver. And I read a bunch of excerpts as Black Bolt as everyone was raving about it. And I'm really excited to read that all in one chunk because I loved everything I saw. But this, it's just, I don't care. It's pretty wordy at points. And then the pacing as they assemble the team is all over the place. It's jumpy, which I guess some of that makes sense. They're teleporting and worlds are being destroyed, but the rhythm of it is really off. I'd give it a 2 out of 5. I may read it if it actually sticks close to X-Men. That's just kind of my stupid hate myself rule. Also, if people turn around and start raving about it, but as of right now, no, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm really glad you recapped the book because I forgot what happened in it.
Well, nothing really did.
No. And it's I am not a big fan of people complaining about books being too wordy. I think sometimes that can be in itself annoying, but this thing was a novel. You know, if I wanted to read a novel, I'll read a novel.
Yep.
You open I think it's the second or third page in the book with stupid Nick Fury, where it's just text the whole way down.
Well, one of them, I want to jump back in. One of them, when Blink finally comes across Nick Fury, it is a double-page spread. Like, not that many panels. There might be insets, but it's a double-page spread of them talking to each other. It's kind of like a montage kind of spread. But double-page spreads, first of all, like a lot of really old-school people would be like, there should never, ever be a double-page spread in a comic book because it's just not economical. You're not telling a story. You're just showing us something. But there's nothing to see here either. There's no action. There's no, like, maybe they want us to think there's a cool vista because we're on the moon looking at the Earth, but there's nothing cool here. So all they're using the double page spread for was to just, here's a bunch of space on the page so we can just stuff a shitload of word balloons. Like, that's all the double page spread is actually doing.
Words that are just not, it's just nonsensical exposition.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yes. So I would also give this a 2 out of 5, and I'm not going to read any more of it.
For me, I stuck with 3 out of 5. It's whatever. But like you guys said, nothing particularly interests me here. I think it's competent, but if Ahmed needs to really tone down his exposition as this goes along, because if it's going to be more, like, I'll give him a pass here. Because
it's hilarious. It's hilarious because his breakout book was Black Bolt.
Yeah.
Where you can't do that much excessive wordiness.
Right.
It's hilarious that when he gets the chance to have characters that speak, it's just,
Yeah, so
and like
all that did was set up. And then after we're done, you get your story in, because when you, like I said, like Vince said, when you have a double page spread like that, it just bogs everything else down.
Well, and the pacing in this book is stupid. The first half of the book is wordy, and it's Blink talking to talking to Nick Fury and talking to herself, and then real fast, it's here's Kamala Khan, and then he leaves. Here's Iron Lad, and then he leaves, and you don't get to know any of these characters or care about any of these characters before she's on to the next character you don't know or care about, and then it's over. I don't think it's a good issue. I don't think it's a good number one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Mike. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. So the art I really did like a lot. There were a little like funky space things like Vince mentioned, but like overall I was a big fan of it, and it's really cool for me to see Clarice being depicted as being from the Bahamas, appearance wise. And I really like that a lot. The pacing, like you said, it was really weird. It was too wordy in the beginning and then all rushed through. Like, okay, here's the story. Here's you catch up really quickly. Now just get out there. So I thought I didn't really mind much that we didn't really connect with Kamala or Iron Lad a lot. With Kamala, I think it was different because I mean, if you're really well acquainted with the 616 character, then you kind of see this dystopian, very old, grumpy Kamala, and you're just like, okay, I guess something really happened. We saw this really bright girl before, just waiting to protect Jersey City, and now what's going on? So I was interested in that aspect at least. So let's see. I didn't really care about the Iron Lad section at all, and yeah, overall, I wasn't really that impressed with it. I haven't read Black Bolt yet. I am reading Quicksilver, and I did read the other Exiles issues. So they were fun. It's nothing memorable, if I'm going to be honest, but they were fun when I was reading it. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading this series. So I'm not sure if I will buy the trade. It might depend, but yeah, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
All right. With that, we'll move into our third book, which is Multiple Man number 1. It's a 5-issue miniseries, and we go right back to Matthew Rosenberg, but Andy McDonald is on art here. And so this kind of spins out of was it Death of X when Jamie Madrox died?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And everyone thought, oh, Madrox is back in this book, and we're going to figure out what's going on. Okay, they just come out right and say, no, Prime Jamie Madrox is dead, and this is one of his prime duplicates he's made. So already I'm pissed off because I like Jamie Madrox. I'm a huge fan of X Factor. Because I was like, yo, because when they killed him in Death of X, I was like, it's the worst character you can kill off because you can just say it's a dupe. Why didn't they just say it was a dupe? Them doing this thing where it's a prime duplicate is okay, whatever. It's kind of stupid. I want to read actual Jamie Madrox, not a fake one. But yeah, Magic and Strong Guy and Richter are all here. Two of these people are from Peter David's X Factor, so it's good to see Richter and Guido again. But they find a duplicate of Madrox and bring him back to Beast, who's at the X Mansion, not teaching at Harvard where he was in Astonishing X-Men. So Matt Rosenberg, you're writing both books, so get your continuity down. So and then he wakes up and he tells them that he's not you already know he's there, he's a prime duplicate, but Beast still informs him that he's dying. So this Jamie steals Bishop's time machine and goes and creates kooky hijinks. Okay, and then at the end, while the X-Men are all confronting him, different versions of Jamie Madrox pop out. There's a Deadpool one, a Cable one, and then there's a Cloak one. And they're like, you're gonna need our help. And then
a Hulk.
Oh yeah, the Hulk one.
Isn't the Cloak one like a Doctor Strange one?
I think the Cloak one is Doctor Strange and Cloak. It might be both. Mm-hmm. Because I think the Cable one is also it's Cable and Warlock.
Yeah.
And the Deadpool one has Cyber Wolverine claws.
But the main thing is they're all stupid.
Yeah, they're all stupid. It's all stupid. but it's supposed to be fun. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Only, and I kind of hate myself for saying, because normally I'd give it a 2, but since I read issue 2 because I like Madrox and need to figure out how it happens, I've now seen where the story goes, and it's kind of retroactively adjusted my rating. So I hate myself for that because I feel like I'm cheating here. But so upon when I first read this, when it came out, the week it came out, I was pissed, and I gave it a 2 out of 5. After reading the second issue, I bumped it up to a 3 because now I see what Rosenberg's trying to do here. But I think most of this is supposed to be zany, fun, time travel hijinks. But once again, Rosenberg taking a character who I don't think is inherently annoying to people, but saying that he is to everyone. So is that just his trope? Is that how he writes protagonists? Because if it is, that's old and stupid. Like, figure something else out, man. But yeah, last thing I want to say is I really liked Andy McDonald's art, which would pull it up to a 3 out of 5 for me. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I honestly don't have much to say about this book. Like, I give it a 2 out of 5 also. I thought the art was serviceable. I thought Jamie was annoying. It's
annoying because it's not Jamie. That's the reason.
Well, yes, because he's not Jamie. And I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah. So this kind of also spins out of the New Mutants, but also / X Factor miniseries, which I guess Rosenberg also did. But then there's the Beast mix-up, so continuity is just weird, whatever. There are New Wave references out the ass in this issue, which I guess Rosenberg is just weird. Magic wears a Susie and the Banshees t-shirt, and then Beast has a weird conversation with Iceman about Oingo Boingo. And I'm like, none of the target audience for this book knows what you're talking about. The stupid alternate Madroxes annoyed me. And then Natalia keeps up with current X-Men better than I do. At the end, there's like a sequence where everyone's fighting. Jubilee uses her powers. Does Jubilee have her powers right now?
Yeah. At the last issue of Generation X, by Christine Strange, she did get her powers back thanks to Quentin using the Phoenix Force on her.
Okay, that's good to know, because I thought that was a giveaway fuck up, but it's not. Andy McDonald, I found his art kind of inconsistent. Like, some pages I thought, oh, this is really fun, and then other pages the figures were off, and some of it had to do with like the shot, the camera angles and stuff. But overall it's pretty fun. The plot is a mindfuck, as you might expect from a Jamie Madrox story, but I didn't really think it was handled in a great way. Like, if you're gonna do like insane, like time travel, duplicate, who's who, people fighting each other, I haven't read that much from Matt Rosenberg, but I don't know if Matt Rosenberg's the guy for it. And then the teaser for the next issue's cover has tons of Madroxes with their thumbs down, which is basically how I feel about this book overall.
Well, briefly, do you want to know what happens in issue 2?
What I want to happen is Peter David to be writing it, and I give this a 2 out of 5. But I will begrudgingly buy and read it eventually.
Well, here's the thing. I can tell you, no, that doesn't happen, but Matthew Rosenberg does put himself in the book.
Matthew Rosenberg is in issue 2.
Yes. There's a part because
that makes it even more so.
No. Let me finish. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish. So they go to this future, which is ruled by an evil Jamie Madrox, and you meet his son, and Layla Miller shows up, which made me kind of happy. But this Prime duplicate doesn't know who Layla Miller is, so it makes no goddamn sense. And then, because you know who it is, because he has the memories, especially if he's a Prime duplicate of Jamie Madrox. And then it's shown that there's all these Madroxes, and they're like totalitarian, like fascist government, and like they go up against a poster, and like people that have been slain, and Rosenberg is one of them, and it's his face on it, and I'm like, you're not cool enough to start doing that yet. Like, Bendis put himself in a Bendis put DDO and himself in Action Comics 1001 this week. When you got that pedigree, you can do that. You haven't written anything good yet.
All right. I thought you meant like he pulled a Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
I would have laughed at, because when I was saying how it's all mindfucky and I don't think Rosenberg pulls it off, exactly what I was thinking is like, oh, this could have been a Grant Morrison new X-Men arc and not this.
No.
But I'm done on this issue. Natalia, what did you think?
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 as well. So really wasn't impressed with a lot of things. Also the Prime Madrox thing annoyed me as well. I miss Jamie. I'm gonna say
You know
that.
what? I changed my rating. This is 1 out of 5. I'm pissed off now.
So yeah,
No, I'm giving it 2. Andy McDonald's art's good enough.
I mean, it's also like I was pissed off at his death. I was pissed off at the lack of mentioning of Lila and his kid. So which we now learn is his son. So and I was kind of upset that we have not Jamie Madrox, but a discount Jamie Madrox. So that wasn't really fun. Let's see what else. We have him being annoying. We have him knocking out Bishop. We have a bunch of time shenanigans going on, which is confusing, but I guess it's supposed to be confusing.
When did Bishop become good again? That's my question.
I think that was Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, written by S.H.I.E.L.D. So, and then issue 2, I also read issue 2, and I continued to not be impressed by the book. So, also another Rosenberg book that's just not really impressing me a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. Same with Astonishing. So sorry, Rosenberg. He impressed me with Phoenix Resurrection. I'm not gonna lie, and so far his New Mutants is decent. Magic's not a goofy character that's pissing everyone off. No. So I think she might be a favorite of his. I don't know, but the other New Mutants are kind of goofy and pissing everyone off, but not her. Otherwise, yeah, not really impressed with his writing so far.
All right, so do you guys want to move into Death of the Inhumans?
I guess.
All right, buckle up for this one. Buckle up for this one. Boys and girls, Death of the Inhumans is written by Donny Cates and is drawn by Ariel Olivetti. And now, I have not been reading Inhumans books because I don't really care about the Inhumans, so I don't know if there's been any build-up to this. As far as I know, the Kree just woke up one morning and decided, hey, remember those guys we made millennia ago? Let's go get them. So the story opens with the Kree having killed a bunch of Inhumans and carved join or die into their bodies, which is kind of grisly and is a decent splash page. And so Black Bolt's like, all right, well, these were some other Inhumans who's not part of my Inhumans, but I guess Inhumans stick together, so we're going to go fight the entire Kree Empire with all 5 of my family members or whatever. And so they go to start a war with the Kree, and turns out the Kree already, where are they going? I don't know where they're going. Where the 4 queens are. The 4 queens are already dead. The Kree Empire killed them, but there's one who's alive. And Triton goes and finds out what happened. This dude named Vox, who is evil Black Bolt, killed everyone. They put a bomb on this guy, and that blows up, and Triton died. But my boy Lockjaw got the rest of them out. And so Black Bolt's like, all right, well, this kind of sucks. We've got to get to New Arctalon, which I guess is different than New Adelon. I don't know what New Arctalon is. It doesn't matter. And so they're like, we got to go rescue Maximus. And so they get into the spaceship, and they fly over there, and Lockjaw teleports in to save Maximus, and then Lockjaw dies, and Maximus dies because this dumb Vox guy kills them. And then Black Bolt is sad, and it's the end. I don't like it.
1 of 5.
I don't. I'll give it 2. I'll give it 2 out of 5 because I think the art's all right. I like the art throughout the entire story. But I don't think Cates' writing is really good at all. There's really ham-fisted references to Rome throughout the entire story that I think doesn't work thematically, doesn't work historically. I don't like that at all. I don't care about any of the characters except for Lockjaw, who they kill. I guess a sheep emotional punch, trying to hit you where it counts. Kill the dog to make the kid cry. I don't care. No, I do care. I do care. I care about Lockjaw. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about Triton. I don't care about Maximus. But this, I don't know if this is supposed to be cathartic for everyone who had been railing against the Inhumans for the past couple years. But I don't think it works on that level either. I don't think it's entertaining. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of switching between 2.5 and 3.5 here, and 3.5 is just purely for the arts. I really loved it. I love the style. I love the colors, how bleak it was. It was like I was really impressed by that. So let's see what else. I noticed that they gave. I remember there was one scene of Vox entering New Atrium. I think that's what it's called. I don't know how to pronounce it. And we see some of the new Inhumans on the floor. There was one, Naja, who was introduced in 2014. So I'm sure like she is a little bit of a fan favorite, and her corpse is just seen on the ground. So, I mean, like if you're just like a small time follower of the Inhumans, I feel like maybe you'll be a little disrespected by that, like going away for shock value.
I'm not a fan of the Inhumans at all, and I feel disrespected by this entire book.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Inhumans at all. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I kind of have a grudge against them. So I caught up with this anyway, especially when I hear who died. Lockjaw and Maximus were both taken out in one shot. So, and Medusa is also severely injured as well. Who knows when she's getting up? So, let's see. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, the Rome thing kind of confused me a little bit. Like, how does he know about, I mean, I guess you were educated in Earth history?
Right?
Yeah. And like I said, the art was gorgeous. I have no idea about the characters. R.I.P. Lockjaw, you will be missed. Maybe you'll get resurrected by the end. So, yeah, 3 out of 5 here. Whatever, no.
All right, Mike, go ahead because I got.
I was gonna say, do you want me to go? Because I know you're gonna be like.
I gotta wrap it up.
Putting a timer on you here. I like this maybe just because I was in the mood for just something just horribly, horribly bleak. And you know what? I don't really give a shit about the Inhumans other than Black Bolt. And if they're all gonna die horrifically in effigy type ways, I'm fine with that because you know what? They're probably gonna come back again soon, so I don't really care. It's 5 issues. It's a miniseries. Art was beautiful. I like Donny Cates. I thought he did a fine job. I didn't think the Rome thing was ham-fisted. I thought it worked well for me. And you know what? 4 out of 5. I want to watch Black Bolt fight evil Black Bolt. Maybe I'm a man of simple pleasures sometimes.
All right. Fuck this book. I give it. Right. On a purely technical level, I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
On an actual level, it's a 1 out of 5. So,
I agree.
Right behind me, as we've discussed, there's a stupid collection video. We also discussed it on a Guilty Pleasures video, which will go up soon. This whole shelf is all X-Men. I'm a big X-Men fan. The entire Death of X, post-Secret Wars era of X-Men and Inhumans was really poorly editorially driven. A lot of shitty stories on both sides. The Inhumans books were arguably as bad or worse than the X-Men books after like the first arc, which had decent art. But I like the Inhumans. The Paul Jenkins, Jay Lee, maxi series from the Marvel Knights era is one of the greatest things Marvel has ever put out. These are the 2 Inhumans masterworks, Marvel masterworks. Both of these are ridiculously hard to find, and you can tell because they don't match. And there's Jack Kirby in here, George Perez. Beautiful stuff. The Inhumans have lots of great stories. I like most of them. all these characters, I love these characters. I think Black Bolt's one of the coolest characters in the Marvel Universe. He's got really cool powers. He's got a really cool concept with his whole can't speak thing. And on that note, through this issue, he uses sign language with Medusa and with others. Whatever, he does that. And even sometimes in some books through the years, they've used subtitles. But he kind of talks a lot in this book, a lot more than Black Bolt should. And there are subtitles every time. And while you also have narration from him, which is fine, it's a comic book, he's the main character, the narration you want. But the subtitles, that's not, I don't think you should ever write Black Bolt like that. The whole point is from Medusa's reactions to him and what they do and the storytelling, you should be able to tell generally what he's trying to get across. Putting the subtitles is just so lazy, especially when he's not even really saying anything interesting. And I can't tell if even that, and we're talking about how the Inhumans have been forced so hard and everything like that. I can't tell if even that is this weird forced thing from the shitty TV show which got canceled because they made a big deal about making up fake sign language for the actor that played Black Bolt on the show. So I can't tell if that is forced into this shitty thing which is destroying and ripping down the stuff that was forced for so long. The Inhumans have been terribly mishandled for several years. They're super cool characters when they're used correctly as occasional miniseries, as supporting cast for the Fantastic Four or random guest appearances. I don't think they should always have an ongoing series. I don't think you should constantly be making new Inhumans as they've done first with Terrigenesis after Infinity, with Inhumanity, and then with the whole Royals era, which I assume set up some of the stuff that we come into here as far as the 5 tribes and the intergalactic aspect of them, and now they're on Arctolan instead of Attilan on Earth. But like, okay, you fucked up with the Inhumans for the past several years, you pushed too hard, fans got kind of annoyed, then just chill and put them back where they were instead of tearing it all down and just being destructive and killing off characters. And like Mike said, especially like Lockjaw, Medusa, even Triton, Maximus, they will be back. It's comic book. It's Marvel Comics. They could be back at the end of this miniseries. But unless it's like this crazy thing where, and Mike mentioned this off air, like maybe this is a dream, maybe this is a fever dream of Black Bolt, or he's living through the prophecy and then it's all going to be bullshit, which first of all, then it would still all be bullshit. And so there's no point. But even if it's not, like, why is this story being told? I don't think there's anything, like, there's no interesting thing being said in service of this destruction, at least in this first issue. And if there's something coming, I don't know what, because Vox, and I don't know how much Cates was involved with Vox's creation, how much Olivetti was involved, whether there was someone else that did the design and they're just working on it. Vox is like this shitty edgelord derivative design. He's like a Judge Death / Darkhawk mashup. I'm particularly thinking Darkhawk because he was tied in with all that cosmic stuff with the Inhumans for a long time. And he has like a scythe, and he's like just a reverse anti-Black Bolt. There's nothing interesting about him. He doesn't say anything interesting in this book. And the setup for him is that he's not going to be interesting because he's just a mindless killing machine. And I don't necessarily expect something super interesting from when we may eventually get to the Supreme Intelligence either. So I really hate this. Like, I hate it on concept. Just the fact that there is a mini series called Death of the Inhumans. Unless you have this crazy long-term plan, I don't really think there should be any comic book arc, hardly ever, called Death of Blank, whether it's Inhumans or anyone. You're very rarely going to do it successfully, and even if you are successful, there's so much to be lost when you gain a little. This is not how superhero, escapist, fantasy, somewhat child-oriented storytelling should work. And so please cancel this book and just pretend this didn't happen. R.I.P. Lockjaw, Maximus, Triton, and whoever else they're going to needlessly kill.
All I'm saying is
But
that
mostly
this book is making way for your Uncanny X-Men book, so you better be happy.
But you can
No,
have.
it's not. That
But
makes
you-
no sense.
In Marvel's eyes, it is.
The Inhumans had to die so the X-Men can rise. I can accept that.
But they already. Resurrection was before this, and Resurrection still sucked. And Uncanny X-Men, when they bring it back, it's probably still going to suck.
Yeah.
Maybe the X-Men just aren't for you anymore, Vince.
Maybe they're not for Marvel. Maybe Marvel is not for me. Maybe Marvel's not for anyone.
This is the part where you pitch Valiant getting the X-Men.
No, that wouldn't work. So thanks for watching Fresh Start. Hope you got through various rants. I don't think many of us were very positive on the books overall this week.
Another downer of an episode.
Check out some of our other episodes with more positive reviews and more episodes coming soon. Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.